Okay, it's time to play the guessing game. Am I A, moving again? Am I at Disneyland, on my way to a cruise, or going to Montana? If you chose going to Montana, you are the winner. Congratulations. Okay, I gotta ask, is this art? What's up, party sheeple? Where are you going? Oh, look, little baby sheep. What sad times are these when even the sheep get vandalized? See that? Got vandalized. That's just sad. Look, it's a baby cow. Hey, baby. You'll make a good burger someday. And for that, I thank you. Oh my gosh, what happened to her arms? Oh my gosh, that's terrible. Probably got bit off by one of those cows. What about you, sir? Did you see anything? Did you see what happened to her hands? Oh my gosh, one of his hands are gone. There's a hand burglar around here. Now, a few weeks ago, I did a little tidbit of art in Bozeman and how they go and make the electrical boxes into things of art. This one is in Missoula, and it's a popcorn popper. I mean, well, it's painted to look like a popcorn popper. That's creative. So what you're seeing here is a photo from the 1890s of Missoula. These streets along here are considered the seedy, those are quotes, part of town. This is where all of the brothels are, and no respectable woman would be caught dead walking the streets here. It was kind of a bad part of town. Check out that old tow truck. That is so cool. This is taken in 1900. And there is the YMCA here. Can't really see it all too well. But here is some old stuff on the YMCA. And by the way, that's 1904, not 2004. This is a big long line right here. In 1935, everybody is waiting for the J.C. Penney's to open their doors. That's nuts. 1935. Here's the police in 1956. That's pretty cool. And this is the First National Bank back in the early 1920s. And this guy right here, they say is working on the streetcar system. Look at those old cars. This is from 1887. It's the City Hall / Fire Department. That's a fire truck. And in 1913, the Florence Hotel burned down. That's an old picture, so it's kind of blurry. But this is the exact same hotel right here, burning down the second time just 18 years later. Sorry, 23 years later. Numbers are hard. You can see the firemen walking down the street with the hose, and everybody just standing around watching it burn. It's quite a show. In the 60s, they pulled up all of the bricks that were lined up on the street and put them around the university here. And that building right there is the First National Bank that I showed you earlier. This is all the newsboys who would stand on the corner selling the newspaper back in the 1950s. This was in the 1920s. Some of these buildings are still around today. Those, on the other hand, are not. They got discontinued in the 30s. This movie theater is still around today. It got rebuilt actually in the early 90s after it burnt down. But check it out. 10 Commandments. That's pretty old. And that's a pretty cool car. This was from the 1950s. This bridge is still here. The Safeway is still there. But this right here, actually this one right here, is now a Taco John's. Sad. Should have stayed a Conoco. I'm not a fan of Taco John's. This was in 1956. I just think it's cool to see some of the old signs. Like the Coca-Cola one. The old cars. And just some of the old billboards. They're pretty cool. And a lot of these places are still around today. In fact, the Coca-Cola building is now a Salvation Army. This is back in 1937, Missoula Mercantile. This spot right here was where the Florence Motel burned down, and it never got replaced. This is brick here, and then there's concrete in the middle. That's where the streetcar used to run. This is the parade back in the early teens. Look how everyone's dressed. All the girls are in dresses. All the men are in like suits. Oh, how times have changed in 100 years. Oh, and if you look, Barnum and Bailey Circus right there, August 13th. And the best meals, 25 cents and up. That's a cool time. In 1911, this is the first airplane that ever flew into Missoula. Look at all the people that showed up to see that. Once again, look how everybody is dressed. If you can see them, it's kind of hard to tell with the reflection. But men are in suits, women are in dresses. This one was from 1908, and there's horse-drawn carriages and dirt roads. That's old. And then in the 1950s, going shopping was a social event, and so everybody dressed up to go shopping. Nobody does that anymore. Crazy.